Welcome to the CBS Eye on Money show. It is Thursday, March 3rd, and this is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. The way we do that is we ask you to contact us. Just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and you can click the Contact Us button, and we get your note. Now, at the end of this form, you tell us everything about yourself. It says, would you be willing to come on the program with us? And if you say yes, Mark does everything else. And that is what Natalie did. Natalie is on the line from Miami, Florida. How are things in Miami? What a lovely time to be in Florida, right?
Yes, Jill. Can't complain with the weather, that's for sure.
All right, Natalie, tell me what brings you to our program. What can we do for you today?
Thanks, Jill. Well, I've recently just read your book. I've been following the podcast, and my husband and I are now at a point where we have some funds coming in. We want to take the next step in financial future and sort of in a crossroads of thinking what to do next, whether to invest in index funds or look at potentially more doubling down our 401k contributions.
All right. So tell us, let's start with this. First of all, you have a husband, you work. How much do you earn?
So collectively, we make $260,000.
260, is that what you said?
260, that's correct.
Okay. And how much are you each contributing to retirement? Are you both maxing out?
We are very close to maxing out. We just actually, because of you, increased our contributions and now pretty much maxing out.
Before Mark asks, I might as well ask you, are you doing pre-tax or post-tax?
So I'm traditional and my husband is in Roth.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay, perfect. How much is in each of your retirement accounts right now? What's the total?
Right. So mine is $250.
Yep.
And my husband is significantly lower at around $20K. And that's because he joined the corporate world a little bit later.
Do you guys own or do you rent?
We own.
Tell us how much the house is worth.
The house is worth close to $800,000.
Holy smokeroonies. Okay. And what's the outstanding mortgage amount?
Around $400,000. We got lucky in the real estate and bought in early 2019.
Oh, Mark, do you like that for a little market timing right there? Just lucky. Just lucky. It's good. What is the rate on the mortgage?
3%.
3%. And it's 30-year?
Yes.
Do you guys have kids?
We have one little guy. He's 2 years old.
And any money saved for him education-wise or other, just in a general brokerage account, anything for him?
So we have two. One, it's tiny. We basically less than $1,000, but any sort of gift we put in there. And then my parents actually started a 529 fund for him.
Oh, I love your parents. Yeah. How much is in that 529 plan?
A few thousand. It just started. They're kind of building it up, but they contribute, I think, around $500 a month.
That's great. Are they also located in Florida or elsewhere?
They're 4 blocks away, Jill.
Oh, you're living Mark's life.
Yeah, I think so. It's good
right.
Childcare coverage.
Yeah, I guess. We just talked to somebody who's got some serious childcare issues. So does that mean you don't have any daycare costs right now?
We have some, but that's something that's coming up. We are looking at preschools and additional daycare, which I will estimate to be around $10,000 a year.
Oh my God. We were just talking to a guy in DC. He's got 2 kids and he's paying almost $50,000 a year in daycare.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's insane. Something's got to give, Mark.
And I have a puppy too, but it doesn't compare.
What kind of puppy?
A Yorkie.
Oh, little baby. Okay. So let me ask a couple more detailed questions and then I'll let Mark weigh in here. Do you guys have life insurance?
So I do through my employer.
Do you know how much you have?
I actually don't, Jill. That's something I need to do where it was one of those checklists.
Okay. So let's put that on the checklist. So confirm life insurance amount. So write that down. And then also find out if you can buy extra coverage through work. If you can, you want to find out whether that coverage is portable, whether you can take it with you if you were to leave your job. Your husband should do the exact same thing. And do you guys have any other assets, rental property, a drawer full of crypto, NFTs? What do you got?
We have a small brokerage account that's around $4,000. And then we got savings, we have close to $50,000. And I have a bonus coming in at around $30,000.
Ooh, that's great.
That I'm wondering what to do with.
Okay. So is that the genesis of the contact? Like, what is it that you want us to try to help you out with today?
Yeah. So, I have this kind of additional money coming in. We have kind of this, savings account around 50,000. I think will hold us for kind of 3 to 6 months if we need to tap into it. But we want to kind of start preparing for the future above and beyond just a 401k.
Mm-hmm.
So does that, I've heard you talk a lot about index funds. Is that something I should be looking at? But with inflation, with the market, I'm concerned if now is the right time to put that money in a new investment fund.
When will the bonus hit?
Next Monday.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Mark, take it away with the bonus.
Well, first and foremost, since you guys are so close to maxing out, I would just make sure that you both get to that point where you're putting in the 20,500. It sounds like you're close, so that shouldn't be a problem. If you guys want to open up, Joe, you got the sheets there.
Yep. There's a brokerage. So there's a brokerage account with $4,000 in it. When you say the sheets, you're asking for the ed slot. What do you want to know from the ed slot?
Yeah. What's the Roth cutoff?
The cutoff for the Roth IRA phase out this year starts at 204,000. So these guys are above that, I think, even when she maxes out.
Now, you guys don't have existing IRAs, either of you?
No.
So, I mean, they could easily do a backdoor Roth if they wanted to do that. Or you just take that 50 grand and you just put it in your brokerage account.
I think it's a brokerage account thing. Now, let me ask another question. Is it more important to you to sort of have like a pool of money available to help with these daycare preschool expenses? Because I'm a little worried that comes into play. I think it's more important to like put some money away into the brokerage account. You don't have to invest it all, by the way. You can keep some money that's sort of outside just to see how things rock and roll when those daycare preschool expenses kick in. I would rather you have a little bit more in that brokerage/savings, like those taxable accounts as you make the transition to, let's call it, 3 to 5, right? Like these next few years where you're going to have additional expenses. But before we start school, is your son likely to go to private or public schools once we start, kindergarten?
A private is our goal.
What?
I know.
How much is that?
Between 11 and 15.
Okay. So 15 grand a year. Mark, they can use 529 assets to fund private school. Is that preferable, or do you think they should fund it out of cash flow, that extra 15 grand?
I think my initial reaction is to try funding it out of cash flow and see how that goes.
I think so too, because I'd rather use that 529, let it build up for college. Let your parents do that. That's very nice of them. You guys concentrate on beefing up. I agree with Mark, maxing out your retirement accounts, building up your savings and brokerage accounts. Don't freak out too much about this bonus and timing the market. We're talking about, yes, this year, it might be like, oh, I'm scared. But, we're talking that this is money I really think you should consider. When you look at the brokerage account, think of it, this is like sort of the 0 to 15 year fund, meaning that like within the next 15 years, this money could be available to help supplement stuff for the kid. Okay. Are you going to have another kid?
We're thinking about it. That's the plan.
Yeah. So we're going to need this brokerage account is going to need to get built up, right?
Right.
So we want you to have some of that money. So my sense is that the allocation should be a more conservative one because you might need to access this money. Now, hopefully you're making more money. You guys are both making more money as time goes on. You won't need the brokerage account right away. You'll let it build up. But if you were to need it, again, if you were going to have, let's say you have 2 kids in private school, it's $30,000 a year. I want you to have some pile of money on which you could draw to help supplement that, especially, by the way, if like something happens to either of you in your jobs, or you don't make as much money, or you're like, you know what, I got 2 kids, I can't be full time anymore, or he says that, there are a lot of different permutations of what could happen in the future. And I think the brokerage account gives you more flexibility than a Roth, even though Mark is probably mad at me for saying that.
That's fine. If you're going to focus on the brokerage, then maybe I would look at making your retirement plan contributions Roth if you have that option available.
Do you have a Roth option?
Yes.
I think that that's a good idea. Now, we're going to look into life insurance. You're both going to look into life insurance, right? How about wills? Do you have your estate planning done?
Yes.
All right. That's my girl. No extra payments on your mortgage, please. And what else is out there that we need to worry about besides making sure that your Yorkie is dressed well?
Well, one of the things we're thinking about is, because real estate is where it is, we want to live in our home longer. So we're considering, doing some home additions.
Okay. That seems fair. So, again, that would just, to me, suggest that all of the money that is coming in, at least in the next couple of years, is in a taxable account that you could draw on. If you had to do a huge renovation of some sort and you didn't want to drain that account, you could always do a home equity line of credit. But obviously, with interest rates rising, that can start to get expensive. So do you have a project, a specific and discrete project now that you think you want to do?
Yes.
What is it?
My dream kitchen in a garage.
How much do we have to pay for that? That sounds expensive, Mark, doesn't it?
That's $100,000.
Right. It sounds like 100 to me.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, I would say between 100 and 125.
So, okay, let me just say this. This money that's coming in right now, this bonus, this goes into cash. That's it. There's no investing this because you need the money. Okay. So now this is cash. Now, what's the next thing? The next step is you've got to get a home equity line of credit. So while this money, this is going to come in, this cash comes in, you're going to sock it into your savings account. The next thing is you've got to establish a home equity line of credit, whatever. They'll give you a couple 100,000 or 150,000, whatever it is. Just establish the line. Don't draw it down yet. Do not pull down all of your savings. You leave yourselves with a 3 or 6 month reserve, ideally a 6 month reserve. All the money that comes in that's surplus money for you guys goes into savings. Hopefully you don't have to pull down the home equity line of credit for some time, that you keep saving money and you're going to try to self-finance this as much as possible. Okay?
Okay.
But if you've got extra money, again, it goes into savings. And when you're ready, and if all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm going to make this up. We've now spent $30,000 of our own money. We now need to pull down the line of credit for the next 70 or 100,000 that we need to pay. Do it, take it out as you need it, but do not let that savings account dip below your 3 to 6 month reserve. And ideally, again, 6 month reserve. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
And if your parents want to help you with this project, just say, oh, we got it set. You take care of the 529 plan. We're great. All right. Mark, are you good with that?
Yeah, I was just curious, what does your extra cash flow look like right now on a monthly basis? Like at the end of each month, what do you guys have to play with?
Around 3,000.
That's good.
That's great. That's great. So let's get that $3,000 in the savings. You're going to pay. I'm very excited about this because do you feel like this project's going to start when? When do you're getting plans approved? So it's going to start in the next couple of months, right?
The goal is probably in the next 6 months.
I want to hear from you by the end of the year. I want to know exactly what's happening. I want pictures of this new renovation. Okay.
Definitely. I would love it. I'll include my Yorkie in that as well.
Excellent. That sounds great. Mark, anything else that we need Natalie to think about?
No, just don't turn around and sell the house.
Yeah, no selling the house. Now you got to stay there. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have a project in your future, if you've got a bonus in your future, if you've got a child in your future, if you got a new job in your future, whatever it is, we'd love for you to join us here on the program. We'll walk you through whatever the next step should be. You know that when you follow us on Eye on Money, you get these podcasts automatically. So just follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you've got questions, go to jillonmoney.com. Click on the Contact Us button while you're there. Sign up for our free weekly newsletter. Check out our other broadcasts. We've got a radio show. We've got another podcast. It's called Jill on Money. So Check them out. All right, we drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Mark Talercio is my co-host and executive producer. We are distributed by Paramount. Mark, it sounds weird, isn't it? Do I have to say Viacom? Maybe I'm just going to say we're distributed by the company formerly known as CBS.
That's a mouthful.
It's like Prince. It's just Prince. Okay. Do something nice for someone else today. Curiosity, compassion, community. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.